It's time to take a deep breath and quiet the mind. Every breath and thought was energy that brought us to our experience in this moment. We are going to exercise our beliefs in the possible. We will bend and create our own realities. Let's explore how to square our recovery and thrive in life. I welcome you to Recovery Squared Radio with your host, Steve Wofford.
Hello, welcome to Recovery Squared Radio. I'm Steve Wofford. I don't know. I have heard this over and over and over again this week. So I thought I would share my experience with you in I don't know. It's interesting because I think I noticed people saying this over and over this last week is because I don't say it often anymore, especially when I'm dealing with the present moment. Whenever I'm dealing with the present moment, I know my next step, just like I know my truth, and I stand in that. And if I think I don't know, I just have to check in and ask, what's my next step? And I'm able to completely accept whatever the future holds for me, so I don't need to know the outcome or the results. I just know that I need to make this step, and nothing else matters. Have you ever got caught up in the future, especially the fear of the future? I know I can go there at times, but I quit living there long ago. You know, one of the things worrying about the future is that we have certain perceptions on how we think it might play out. And oftentimes that manipulates or influences our current decisions in the moment. So we are taking something that may or may not happen in the future, and we're bringing it into the present moment. And our perceptions are largely dictated by the past. And so we can get caught up in this vicious struggle of past, future, past, future, past, future. And when we're not living in the moment, we don't get the results that we want. And we cause more stress, more suffering, more problems in life when we're not living in the present moment. When I was younger, I was a typical know-it-all. I thought I knew everything, and it got even worse when, you know, I was self-employed at 24, and I was able to pull in a year's salary in a few months, and so I did pretty good, but my problem was that I had a drinking and a drug problem, and was not in the best marriage, and so I wasn't really living in alignment with true success in all aspects of my life. But I knew how to make money. And so I thought, you know, I have a pretty wife, a car, kids, and those sorts of things. Like, I got it figured out. I got this. Have you ever felt like that? Like, yeah, I got this. And then something happens and it kind of blows up in your face and you're like, wait, like I thought I had it. But so I thought I knew it all. Because I could get things. I generally could get what I wanted. I could attain the things that I wanted. But after I realized the illusion of it all, that I didn't really have anything because I did not have myself. And so I lost all those other things because they weren't really true to me. And we lose the things that are not true to ourselves. And if we keep them, it takes too much work and struggle to keep them, and it ends up not serving us in the long run. Yeah, me knowing it all ended the worst day of my life. And I talk about this on show number 7. If you can go to recoverysquared.com/7, you can listen to it there. But basically, I talk about how I took the worst thing that ever happened to me and turned it into the best thing that ever happened to me. And really, what that process was It was collapsing the distance between the deception I was under and truth. I lost all those things that weren't true to me, the bad marriage, the drug addictions, and those sorts of things. And I got closer to my true self, where I have myself, and it just doesn't really matter what's around me today. Because wherever I go, I have my truth. But that's when I entered the state of, I don't know. And when I entered recovery, I had to depend on people to show me how to live. First, to stop using drugs, in that there's other ways to live, but then recovery taught me a much deeper truth in how to live your life. And then I started working with mentors, coaches, and I really was able to elevate my life to new levels that I never knew were possible. It's like I'm able to use those skills to create a real life, not fighting for an illusion of a life. But it really took me to evaluate my results because they were not good. You know, like I said, I had a lot of the success, but I have the drug problems, bankruptcies, depressions, contemplating suicide, my wife's affair, just total wreckage. But all those things that I thought I knew were really just deceptions of my mind and the world. And I was also susceptible to the collective deception of those around me. And thanks to those mentors, coaches, and sponsors, I was able to recover my truth. And I have the confidence to stand in it today. And so today, when I say I don't know, I'm denying the truth that I do know. Because I'm intimate with my truth and I stand in it confidently. You know, and I know I can always improve on this, but I know who I am today. You know, so if you're at a place where you don't know, I'd like to encourage you that it is possible to know absolutely every next step that you have to take. And if you really don't know, your next step is to know. But the idea is not to condition our subconscious into not knowing. Because when we speak it, it's like programming our subconscious into believing that we don't know. We don't know what we don't know, but we can know the next step to find out what we don't know. And when we take this moment, our one thing, we know our next step. And we need to be clear of what's past and what's future and remain in the present. I believe that we were created and called to live in truth and love. When we stand in this place, it creates an all-knowing flow. In episode 9 at recoverysquared.com/9, I talk about being fractured from truth and how it gets in the way of not only our results, but it gets in the way of what we're called to do. Because when we can come at this, we're a place where we might feel that, you know, I don't know what step 2 and 3 are, but I can always find out what's my next step. And I might get a map or a plan of where I'm going. Like I have one with my business and even the show, but I don't live there. I oftentimes say that I have a compass. I do not have a map. I don't know if I'm going to have to swim across an ocean, dig under a mountain, but I know where I'm going. So when that mountain or that ocean shows up, I know that I have to go through it. And I have to be prepared to do it. But I know without a doubt that I know what my next step is. And sometimes we might get caught up in fear and making the wrong step. But here's the interesting thing. We are all in a perfect process of learning. And if you don't make that step and just stand there and say, I don't know, you're not going to receive that lesson that you were supposed to receive. And it might feel misguided at times, but as long as you keep stepping in the direction that you're supposed to go, then it's all a perfect process. And as scary as that might sound, this is how you create a thriving life. This is how you create miracles. This is how you love and become service to the world. We need more people walking in their truth. And one of the things I wanted to do with Recovery Squared is I wanted to make this sort of content available to you, this podcast, the blog. I wanted to create a community around this. I want to invite you to recoverysquared.com. And if you click on the Get Access button, I will send you the Recovery Squared course on recovering your truth. And I cover these sorts of topics. And we also have a Facebook community available where you can talk to other like-minded people and join our tribe. I'll also send you a link to schedule a call with me because I'd love to connect with you. I'll put the show notes up on recoverysquared.com/11. I love you, and thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to Recovery Squared Radio. Please visit recoverysquared.com for access to resources on squaring your recovery. And as a reminder, act without doing. Create space between your thoughts and actions.